9 daily habits that quietly make you look like old money. My friend Sarah sent me a text last Tuesday that just said, "People have started asking me if I went to boarding school." Sarah is 41. She grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment in Queens. She's never set foot on a yacht. But something had shifted in how people were reading her, and she couldn't figure out what. So I met her for coffee, and within 5 minutes I knew exactly what had changed. It wasn't her clothes. She was wearing jeans and a sweater. It wasn't her job. She's still doing the same marketing work she's done for years. It was something else, something quieter. The way she sat, the way she ordered, the way she moved through space like she owned it without announcing it. And when I asked her what she'd been doing differently, she laughed and said, "I've just been copying what I see wealthy women do. Not the obvious stuff, the tiny things nobody talks about." That's what we're unpacking today. Not how to dress rich or buy expensive things, but the daily micro behaviors that signal old money so quietly that people can't pinpoint why you seem different. They just know you do. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, let us know which city you are watching from in the comments. Habit number 1. They pause before they speak, and the pause is doing something. Sarah told me the first thing she changed was this. She stopped filling silence immediately. She used to jump in the second someone finished talking, eager to respond, to contribute, to prove she was paying attention. But she noticed that women who carried themselves with real authority never did that. They'd let a beat pass, 2 beats, sometimes 3, and then they'd speak. And that pause wasn't empty. It was working. It was signaling, "I'm considering what you said. I don't need to rush because I'm confident my response will be worth waiting for." Research from Stanford on conversational power dynamics found that people who pause 2 to 3 seconds before responding are perceived as 40% more thoughtful and credible than those who respond immediately. The pause itself becomes a status signal. Sarah started practicing this in work meetings. Someone would ask her opinion, and instead of blurting out her answer, she'd count to 2, then speak. She said the shift was immediate. People started leaning in, taking notes, treating her input differently. Same ideas, different delivery. Habit number 2. They never apologize for taking up space. Here's what Sarah noticed about old money women. They don't make themselves smaller. When they sit at a restaurant, they don't scrunch into the corner of the booth. When they walk down a sidewalk, they don't dart around people. When they set their bag down, they don't apologize for it taking up space. Not because they're rude, they're incredibly polite, but because they've internalized something most women haven't. You're allowed to exist fully. Sarah said she used to say sorry 20 times a day. Sorry for asking a question. Sorry for needing something. Sorry for existing in a room. But when she started catching herself and replacing sorry with thank you for your patience instead of sorry I'm late, people responded completely differently. A University of Waterloo study found that over-apologizing is correlated with lower perceived status and competence, particularly in women. Not apologizing when you've actually done something wrong is problematic, but apologizing for occupying space teaches people you're unsure you deserve to be there. Habit number 3, they eat slowly and put their fork down between bites. This one sounds ridiculous until you watch it in action. Sarah started paying attention to how wealthy women eat, and she realized they're never rushing, fork down between every bite, chewing completely before speaking, sipping water between courses. It's not a diet thing, it's a pace thing. Because when you eat slowly, you signal that you're not governed by urgency. You have time, you're savoring, you're present. She started doing this at business lunches, and she said the dynamic completely changed. Clients started relaxing, conversations went deeper, deals took longer but closed more often, because she wasn't broadcasting stress through her eating pace. Research from the Cornell Food Lab found that people who eat quickly are perceived as more anxious and lower status than slow eaters, even when meal content and setting are identical. Habit number 4, they never complain about being busy. Sarah said this was the hardest one to break because complaining about being busy has become social currency. It's how we prove we matter. But old money women don't do it. When someone asks how they are, they don't say so busy or drowning or crazy week. They say, good, thank you, or "Wonderful, how are you?" Because busyness signals scrambling, wealth signals margin, and if you're constantly advertising that you're overwhelmed, you're teaching people you're not in control of your life. Sarah started responding to "How are you?" with "I'm well, thank you," regardless of what her week looked like. She said people started treating her like someone who had their act together, which created a self-fulfilling loop. She started actually feeling more in control. A Harvard study on status signaling found that references to busyness correlate with lower perceived socioeconomic status, while references to leisure and selectivity correlate with higher status. Habit number 5, they say no in complete sentences. Here's what Sarah noticed. Old money women don't explain their no's. They don't say, "I'd love to, but I'm so swamped and my schedule is insane." They say, "I'm not available, but thank you for thinking of me." Full stop. No justification, no apology, no invitation to negotiate, and people respect it, because the completeness of the sentence signals the completeness of the decision. Sarah started practicing this with social invitations, volunteer requests, work favors. "That won't work for me. I'm not available. I'll have to pass." And she said people stopped pushing because she stopped leaving openings. Research from Columbia on assertiveness and status found that people who give long explanations for refusals are perceived as having less social power than those who give brief, complete refusals. Habit number 6, they never touch their face or hair in public. Sarah said she didn't even realize she was doing this until a mentor pointed it out. She was constantly touching her hair, twirling it, tucking it, adjusting it, and old money women never do that. Their hands stay quiet, at their sides, folded in their lap, holding a glass, but never fussing with their face or hair. Because fidgeting signals insecurity. Stillness signals composure. She started noticing her impulse to touch her hair and actively stopping herself. She said it felt weird for about 3 days, and then it became automatic. And people started commenting that she seemed more confident, though they couldn't articulate why. Research from UCLA on nonverbal status cues found that self-touching behaviors, face, hair, neck, are strongly correlated with perceived nervousness and lower status, while stillness is correlated with authority. Habit number 7, they use people's names, but not too much. Here's a subtle one Sarah picked up. Old money women use your name when they greet you and when they thank you. "Hello, James." "Thank you, Jennifer." But they don't use it in the middle of conversation. That feels like a sales tactic. Just the beginning and end. And that strategic use creates intimacy without familiarity. It signals, "I see you as an individual. You matter enough for me to remember your name." Sarah started doing this with baristas, colleagues, service workers. "Good morning, Kevin." "Thank you, Maria." She said people started recognizing her, smiling when she walked in, going out of their way to help her, because she'd made them feel seen. Dale Carnegie documented this decades ago in How to Win Friends and Influence People. A person's name is the sweetest sound to them, but using it sparingly makes it land harder. Habit number 8, they tip well but don't announce it. Sarah told me she started noticing that women who seemed genuinely wealthy tipped very well, 25%, 30%, but did it silently. No, "This is for you," or "Keep the change" announcement. Just the tip on the table or in the check holder, no fanfare. Because generosity announced becomes performance. Generosity done quietly becomes character. She started tipping more and saying less. And she said service workers started remembering her, upgrading her table, bringing her things without asking, because they knew she'd take care of them, and they wanted to take care of her back. Research on reciprocity from Wharton found that quiet generosity builds stronger social capital than visible generosity, because it's perceived as genuine rather than transactional. Habit number 9, they walk like they're expected. And here's the last one Sarah mentioned, and honestly, it might be the most powerful. Old money women walk into every room like they're expected to be there. Not aggressive, not tentative, just certain. Shoulders back, chin level, steady pace, eye contact, not looking around for permission or validation, just moving through space with quiet assurance. Sarah said she started practicing this when walking into client meetings, restaurants, networking events, and she said it changed everything. Hosts smiled and led her to better tables. Strangers held doors, colleagues deferred to her. Because the way you enter a room tells people whether to make space for you or ignore you. Amy Cuddy's research at Harvard on power, posing found that body language doesn't just affect how others see you, it affects how you see yourself. Walk like you belong, and you start to believe you do. For the 9 habits Sarah picked up. And here's what happened after 3 months of practicing them. She got promoted. She started getting invited to events she'd never been invited to before. People began assuming she came from money, even though nothing about her actual background had changed. Because old money isn't about what you have, it's about how you move, how you speak, how you occupy space. And all of that can be learned. Here's your assignment. Pick 2 of these habits. Just 2. And practice them deliberately for the next week. Notice what shifts. Then come back to this video and comment which 2 you chose and what you noticed. Because I want to hear your experience, and so does everyone else watching. And if this resonated, we've got something else coming that builds on this. The specific conversation phrases old money women use that make people instantly respect them. Subscribe and turn notifications on so you catch it. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.